Will there be an attack on an attack on Iran by Israel or U.S. this year? I believe that Israel will strike Iran if they think Barack Obama is going to take office, because Israel knows that if Barack Obama takes office, the whole Islam taking over the world conquest is going to come up and go down that route, and so they're going to fight that one. And so I think that if Bush doesn't attack Iran, which I don't think he is, I think he's just going to wait and let Israel do it. If that's the case, then just keep your eyes open, because it very well could come down to either Israel or the U.S. attacking Iran. Either way, Iran's going to attack the United States. So I don't know. Russia is going to back Iran, and Iran is going to unleash tons of nuclear missiles here. And so people don't see it coming. Wake up and smell the roses. It's coming. Iran is going to attack the United States, whether the USA at this point attacks Iran or not, because they're going to know that Israel is being backed by the USA. And so, I just see a lot of annihilation coming in Israel, the land of Israel, and in the United States. And so, and there's going to be a big famine in the Middle East, so there's going to be more war in the Middle East, in Arabia, and that includes Iran. And so just everybody under famine at this point, and the United States being under, and Israel being under a lot of destruction and famine. And so that's the two things you're going to see coming up anywhere when it comes to our country or even Israel, is destruction and famine. And so that's where it's headed. Next question, why have they chosen to raise gas prices now? I don't know why they're doing it now, but I mean, it's coming sooner or later. Our entire economy is going to collapse. And so it's taking the heat off the housing market, having the heat on the gas prices. The entire economy is going to collapse. There actually be an election in November? I don't think so. I really don't. I guess we'll wait and see. It's going to be one of these we'll wait and see type things, because I don't think Bush is just going to step aside and walk out after him and the Clintons have worked so hard after the last 20 years of running their faction in the New World Order, that they're going to turn it over to Barack Obama. And so it just really depends on what kind of route we're going to go down. Just to wait and see what they actually do. Every time I say one thing, they do another, just because they know I'm saying one thing. Nobody listens to the show more than the government itself. And so, and one of the reasons I'm still standing, still left alive, because they do want to know what I have to say. Because they know I get anointed in wisdom from the Most High Himself, and they want to know what he's saying to His people. And so, when I say one thing, they do another, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I can warn you of different routes that they're going to take, because I can always see them. One of the things that angers them more than anything is that I always know what they're up to. I can't pinpoint, but I can tell you exactly what they have planned, and so, just the way it is. Hey, Sherry, a question from a listener. What do you think about the book Blueprint for Bondage? I think it's an excellent book. I have a link on my website at justgivmethetruth.com. It puts a high emphasis on Israelite genetics and how the sons of Cain have an agenda to pollute the true Israelite genes in the last days by pushing race mixing through Hollywood, TV, and public school. Yeah, he comes out with a lot of information in that book, and stuff I never touched on in 18 of my websites that I thought was just fascinating, and that's why I loved the book. And he's a great guy, Scott McQuaid. He's coming out as a co-host of a radio show. I can't remember the name of it, but it's an excellent book, Blueprint for Bondage. And he talks about how Paul was set up from the beginning to deceive the churches. He talks about the serpent seed line. Just a lot of insights that in 18 websites I didn't even come up with. And so, an excellent book, and you can see it at blueprintforbondage.com. You can go there. He's got an online ebook format you can buy. You can buy the hardback copy. But I would suggest people get this book and read it, and once you start reading it, you won't put it down. And it's not too long to where you can't read it in a day or two. A follow-up question from a listener: if that's the case, Iran attacking U.S. no matter what, Russia backing them, should we each have a fallout shelter? I would advise having somewhere to go. Yeah, a cave, somewhere in the mountains, the forests, to run during martial law. Because what they're going to do is hit where it hurts. They're going to hit communication centers. take out the internet, take out our power sources, energy sources, major cities, do the most amount of damage possible. And so I really don't think those small countries, other than losing their internet access and stuff like that, are going to be affected. The small towns, what will be affected is major cities. And so because they only have so many missiles, and so they want the maximum effect possible when they unleash one. And so a lot of death, a lot of chaos, and it helps the Americans' agenda into leading into martial law, which is why I say Bush keeps baiting them to attack us, because he wants it. He wants to put America into martial law. They're all working together. You know, at one point you think they're all fighting, and the next you just see how they're all working together to connect the dots on the chessboard so they can get the New World Order in tow. They're all working together to get the Antichrist here, to get a one-world government with Satan leading it, his Antichrist leading it. And so everything else is just who gets to lead what, when, and who gets to be in charge at the time, and they all piddle over that. But for the bigger picture, you know, yeah, America's about to crumble. You know, America's crumbling. It's crumbling now. The famine's happening in the background, being pushed. The economy is going to just completely crash, because it's going to be an America nobody recognizes in a year from now. If I dare say a year from now. It's going to be much different. It could be sooner. But I can guarantee you by October of next year, nobody will recognize America. And so, yeah. Time to get busy. Time to prepare. Do as the Lord leads you to do. Like I said on my list the other day, if you have something you can sell and buy camping gear and food, do it. Sell unnecessary stuff while you have a buyer. Because nobody's going to have money 9 months from now. With the gas going up even higher, more and more stores closing, the little guys being squeezed, the businesses getting closed, nobody's going to have money to buy anything. And so if you've got something to sell now, sell it, so that you can get you camping gear and food and medicine and supplies and things that you're going to need. Ask the Lord what you need, because I could say in my area, oh, I need heaters or I need air conditioning. In your area, you may not need it, you know? So you need to ask the Lord to give you a list and things that you need to be stocking up on and preparing. And don't listen to other people. I mean, everything doesn't pertain to all people. You know, people live in different areas. They have different capabilities, different abilities to do different things at different times, certain times. And so that's why it's very important that people ask the Lord to lead and guide their thoughts, so that they're listening to Him and doing what He needs them to do, because He knows what area you're in, what state you're in, what part of the country. He knows what you need to be doing. Last question from a listener, and I'm going to close the show. Is it wrong to throw away a certain version of the Bible, like the NIV? I know they're all but completely correct. All not completely correct, but is it wrong to keep one version as opposed to another? Oh, the NIV is particularly even worse than the KJV. People ask me all the time about Bible versions, and you know what? I read the KJV. I just read what the Lord leads me to read, and I don't read Paul. The end of the story. And so take out the books of Paul in the New Testament, and you have Matthew, John, let's see, Philippians, Colossians, Titus, James, Hebrews and James, 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st and 2nd, 3rd John, Jude, and Revelation. So you have about maybe 9 books in the New Testament, once you take away Paul's books and the ones written by his disciples, that are good to read. The Lord keeps me in Enoch. Read Enoch. Stay in Enoch. You know, stay there till you know it. I've read Enoch 10, 15 times, and I'm finally grasping it. You know, it's one of those books that you just have to read and read and read and read for it to assimilate, because there's so much information there. And so, I don't know. He just has me in Enoch all the time. So just ask the Lord what book you need to be in. Ask Him for discernment in reading, so that you know what to read and what not to. Anyway, until next week, everybody. God bless.